way y'all would rather be trapped in the woods with a bear over a man.
Alright, let's break this down.
Let me debunk everything you're about to say in this video. Or more accurately, point out how everything you're about to say in this video is either anecdotal or irrelevant.
Reason number one, a bear is not going to act any differently when it realizes there aren't any witnesses.
Neither is the majority of people. Now, before I go any further, I get what women are saying, but it's based in sexism. And it's sexist because y'all are judging the majority of men based on the actions of less than 1%. There is roughly just over 1,600,000 men on the National Sex Offender Registry. Which sounds like a lot until you realize there is over 170 million men in the US overall. Which means even if we multiplied the number of men registered as sex offenders by 10, it would still be less than 1% of the overall male population in the US. To say that men would automatically act different if they were alone in the woods with you is blatantly sexist. Even if we went by violent crime alone, the majority of violent crime in the US is still perpetuated by less than 1% of the population overall, and the majority of that crime is black on black. Oh, racism, systemic prejudice, yep. What you gonna say now? You are literally acknowledging that you are basing your analysis off of a systemically biased system. If you're willing to talk about the racism within the criminal justice system, I think it's time to talk about the sexism in the criminal justice system. Why do so many violent women not even get prosecuted, let alone convicted? So are there people who would act differently if there were no witnesses around? Yes, but is a very small percentage of the overall population at large. So your first claim is completely anecdotal and irrelevant.
Not want to talk to you. If a bear knows you are in the woods, it will literally leave you alone.
First of all, yeah, that is true, most of the time, but that doesn't mean a bear won't target you as prey 1% of the time. And as I pointed out in my first part, you could literally say the same thing about the average man. So yeah, that applies to both bears and men. Most of us aren't going to care.
Alone in the woods with a woman and they hear a noise, they will likely do the exact opposite and go towards that.
Do you have a source to support that claim, or are you just assuming things? I see men make videos and stitches on this app all the times of creepy noises in the woods or strange yellings, and you know what they say? Nope, I'm packing up, I'm leaving. And even if a guy hears a woman shouting and screaming in the woods by herself, of course he's gonna follow it. That doesn't mean he has malicious intent. If you hear somebody screaming in the woods and it's clearly sounding like a woman, you might think it's a woman in distress who might need help. So if a man is hiking in the woods and he hears a woman and does follow him, that does not imply he has malicious intent in any way, shape, or form. There's 1,000,001 reasons why a guy might follow a noise that don't involve trying to find a victim of some kind of predatory crime.
Number three, bears do not want to attack people.
Yeah, you know who else doesn't want to attack anyone? 99% of men. In fact, over 99% of men, since we already established that in my first point. Everything you're talking about is not based in science and evidence, but stigma. Yeah, there's some things you can do to avoid bear encounters, but if you honestly feel safer around a bear than a man, you're ignorant. Y'all can keep saying that we're missing the point. We're not. It's just that your point is ridiculous. What you're missing is the counterpoint, and that is y'all are being prejudiced to an entire demographic of people based on stereotypes. You are generalizing an entire group of people based on less than 1% of that demographic. This is not a logical argument. This is an argument being made out of emotion. We understand where you're coming from. You're coming from being chronically online. Ladies, most of y'all pass well over 100 men within a week and nothing ever happens to you. If you were passing up bears at the same frequency, you would be dead within a week. Stop acting like choosing the bear is being done out of fear for your life. It's being done because y'all have been taught this last couple of decades to hold an unreasonable prejudice against men based in nothing more than stigma.